First world problems. Those in developing countries would kill to have our worries, while Quebec students engage in a violent protest over a couple of $1,000 in tuition. People in Syria are being slaughtered for demanding just a fraction of the freedoms too many of us take for granted. Here to help put things in perspective is Montreal writer Beverly Ackerman, author of The Meaning of Children. Thanks for joining us this evening, Beverly. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mark.
We are in a strange world, where we look out our window and see everything that should be glorious, and especially in Quebec, where they seem to be complaining about everything.
Well, we have a lot to be grateful here in Quebec, but sometimes we just look at the things that we feel we're missing out on, and we all want more, and it doesn't always work that way. So I wrote this article because I just really feel that Quebecers should be more cognizant of how wonderful our programs are. And yes, there's always room to improve things or to discuss things, but not by mob rule, not by holding us sort of hostage, by taking over downtown and protesting all night and banging on pots. I think that we have lots of venues to have public and political discussions without threatening people.
Well, I even watched the news and Montreal feeds, and it's leading with the student protests, the student violence. You don't see hardly anything at all on the UN. You see a bit the UN's involvement now in Syria and how they're backing down. A quick news clip of the over 100 people, innocent people, a third children who were killed by Assad's forces. That gets 30 seconds, and then the rest of it's all about Quebec students bitching about something they shouldn't be bitching about.
Well, it's easier to get local coverage. It doesn't cost much to take pictures in the streets, and it is a big deal for a lot of people in Quebec. But yeah, we all have to take it with a grain of salt. And in the spring, students kick up their heels, and that's what they're kicking it up about this time this year. It is a big issue, but it's not the end of the world, and we will come to some solution. We always do.
Well, maybe so, maybe not for a while.
No,
with the tourist season coming up, but even just down the street in the courthouses there, one of the biggest trials should be the corruption charges that are going on right now under the construction industry in Quebec. A scandal that's cost the taxpayers of Quebec millions and millions and millions of dollars. Payouts, organized crime involvement.
Well, we don't know yet. That's the whole thing that the commission is going to inquire into, how much it's cost and how widespread, and that's the point. But you're right. Yes, people banging on pots are getting a lot more coverage than other things. But that's the media's choice. It's not the students' fault.
Well, it's eyes-driven too. I mean, it's what the ratings tell them, and they say, well, we want more students. And when you ramp it up and you've got lawyers marching with their robes, that's a pretty good picture opportunity, photo op for them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm concerned. But it's no different in Ontario too. Over the helicopter, the ambulance helicopter scandal, millions of dollars. And what they talked about last year, mostly about the Occupy movement. So we all have to give ourselves a kick in the slats a little bit on this thing.
That's right.
How do you switch it around? I mean, your column that you wrote is a guest column to the Montreal Gazette.
Yes.
Talked about the world around us is falling apart, yet we seem to be so insular.
Well, it's hard to take a big picture. It's hard always to be grateful for what we have. It's much easier to complain about what we don't have or what we think should be corrected. And all these things come from, good motivations. We do want a better world. We want a better world for ourselves and for others. But I think these students are just discovering, I guess, their own political power. I think there's been a long history of students or people in the, a 18 to 34 age group not voting, not being politically active. So, I mean, hopefully one of the good things that will come out of this is that people will become more active and more interested in how our peaceful political system works, which is not, by protesting in the streets, but by, everybody has an elected representative. They can make their feelings known, their thoughts known in an organized way. And that's the wonderful thing about our system is that we have these opportunities.
But all the people who are in office right now are handcuffed by the students. Now, you've got your book just came out on Amazon, The Meaning of Children. It's a collection of short stories.
That's right.
Surely to God, there's a story here in Montreal that you can be working on right now as a book.
Yes, well, you know, I have lots of novels started, and I always say that when I grow up, I'm going to be a novelist. I only started writing a few years ago, so I'm working on it. But yes, it's a very interesting time to be in Quebec. It's always interesting here.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us in Montreal. The book, The Meaning of Children's, out at Amazon right now. Beverly Ackerman, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Weaning entitled Quebec off the government teat. Can it be done? Parents, please air your kids out. It's hurting their health. And Richard Branson, the last refuge for unbridled testosterone.